Happy Monday. Welcome into another edition of Seahawks Today, powered by Jet Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us on today's show. We have the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors, including those around Jimmy Garoppolo, Carlos Dunlap, and what Pro Football Focus had to say about the Seahawks offensive line. Let's start out with Jimmy G. Rumors circulating that the 49ers quarterback will be cut by San Francisco, and Jimmy G has been shopped around for a long time. He had off-season surgery, and that's kind of made the trade market very limited for Garoppolo. Now, we've told you for a while on this show that the chances of Garoppolo being traded within the division were next to none, pretty slim, the idea that San Francisco would send Jimmy G to Seattle. But if he becomes a free agent, here's what that all means, essentially. If Jimmy G is cut prior to week one, although that he is owed around $24 million this next season, the Niners could get out of that with just $1.4 million in dead money. So not too bad, all things considered, of the guaranteed money as opposed to what he would account against the cap if they cut him before week one. So that opens up a pathway potentially for Jimmy G to go to Seattle if he were cut and is a free agent. Louis Riddick of ESPN seems to be pretty high on the idea of bringing Jimmy G to Seattle. He said, all over it if I'm the Seahawks. Why? Look, think about this. Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator out there in Seattle, comes from the Sean McVay tree. Coached in L.A. with Sean. That offense is very similar in terms of construct, in terms of philosophy that Kyle Shanahan runs out in San Francisco. That's an offense that's tailor-made for Jimmy G's style. So, there you have it. Louis Riddick seems to love the idea of sending Jimmy Garoppolo to Seattle. I'll tell you what I have to say about this in just a moment, but before I do, I want to hear from you guys. If Jimmy G ultimately is cut by the 49ers, should the Seahawks make a move and bring him to Seattle? Should they sign him as a free agent? Let me know in the comment section. Type Y for yes, type in for no, if you think Seattle should make a move for Jimmy Garoppolo. This is our pinned comment today. You're about to get an ad break. Take advantage of it while the ads play and get your votes in. Y for yes, in for no, if the Seahawks should bring in Jimmy G if he is cut. I wouldn't mind Jimmy G as a free agent. I don't want to give up draft capital and have to spend over $24 million on Jimmy G, but you would have to think that if Jimmy G is in a position where he's a free agent, where he doesn't cost as much as what his current contract is, then I could see that being compelling to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo as a stopgap quarterback until you find the quarterback that you really want for the long term in Seattle. Obviously, he's better than any quarterback on the Seahawks roster right now, whether that be Geno Smith or Drew Lock. And quite frankly, when I look at Jimmy G's career, I know that they've already brought in his replacement in San Francisco with Trey Lance, but he's actually kind of underrated, believe it or not. Look at this. His record as a starter in the National Football League, 33-14. Now, some of you might counter and say, wins and losses is not a quarterback stat. Well, for Jimmy G, it looks pretty good, if it is. The touchdown-interception ratio, 71 touchdowns, 38 interceptions, 67% completion percentage there for Jimmy G. 2021 wasn't bad for Jimmy G and the Niners either, helping lead them to the NFC title game. His second career NFC title game, played in a Super Bowl a couple of years ago as well. Jimmy G, I don't mind that idea of bringing him to the Seattle Seahawks as a free agent. I wouldn't trade for him. I'm not paying him $24 million. But if I'm getting him at a cheap discount as a free agent, I'd be certainly open to that possibility, quite frankly, if the chance were to arise and show up if the Seahawks have that opportunity to do so. Moving on, let's talk about Carlos Dunlap. The Seahawks interested in bringing Carlos Dunlap back was something that we've talked about ever since he was released in March, that they like him as a player but not necessarily a fit with the Seahawks' new 3-4 defense, with the front that they're assembling under new defensive coordinator Clint Hurt. Well, now Dunlap is actually visiting with the Carolina Panthers today. The Panthers looking to replace Hassan Riddick, who ended up with the Philadelphia Eagles. And Dunlap, if he makes this move to the Panthers and does not return to Seattle, it'll be a homecoming of sorts for Dunlap. He calls North Charleston, South Carolina, home. So we'll have more on Dunlap in just a second, but before we do, got a great offer for our Seahawks Today viewers. If you go to chatsports.com/Seahawks combo, there is an opportunity to get this T-shirt and long sleeve combination. Great throwback look. And the best part about it, it's 25% off. Get your hands on this now. You're going to be looking snazzy before football season starts. Chatsports.com/Seahawks combo. I love the throwback look. That brings back a lot of good memories for Seahawk fans over the years. Here's your chance to get it now and be looking stylish before football season. Chatsports.com/Seahawks combo for a 25% off discount. Now, I like Dunlap as a player. Seahawks have made it no secret they like Dunlap. But I don't expect this to happen. This just doesn't fit right with what Seattle wants to do defensively now. With the change in scenery, with the direction the Seahawks are going, and at this point in time, here we are in the month of June. If the Seahawks wanted to bring Carlos Dunlap back, I think they would have done so by now. I don't think they would have just let him sit out there. Remember, Geno Smith was a free agent. And he sat out there for a bit, but then they worked out a deal, and they brought him back. They wanted him back. They got the deal done. Carlos Dunlap, I get that they released him, but enough time has gone on. We know the direction they're going with this system, what they've done to draft defensive linemen this past year. I don't see that happening. Wish all the best to Carlos Dunlap, but I don't think it's in Seattle. I can see that Carolina situation happening. What say you guys? Should Seattle bring Carlos Dunlap back? Should they find a way to make this work? Let me know in the comment section. Type S for sign, type P for pass if you think the Seahawks should bring Carlos Dunlap back. And if they do, we'll be covering it here on Seahawks Today. I want to thank you guys for helping us reach 27,000 subscribers on the channel. Overall at Chat Sports, we eclipsed 1 million subscribers across all channels, and our main channel topped 300,000 subscribers. We are growing, and we're bringing you content each and every day here on Seahawks Today. So help us get another step closer to 28,000 subscribers by subscribing now. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. That's YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Turn on that notification bell as well. We certainly would appreciate it here on the channel. Last note before we go. Pro Football Focus, the blogger boys, had something to say that wasn't too kind about the Seahawks offensive line. They ranked them as the worst offensive line in the NFL. Here's the exact quotes from PFF. There's quite obviously a lot of hope for the future with the talent Seattle's brought into the fold, but this has crash and burn potential. Starting 2 rookie offensive tackles from air raid offenses is a scary proposition, and considering Gabe Jackson's decline in recent years, there's not a single quality starter this unit can rely on. Now, that's pretty harsh, right? Not very kind at all from Pro Football Focus and Chris Collinsworth's team and everybody over there. What's your one-word reaction to these mean words from Pro Football Focus? Let me know in the comments section if you have something to say to PFF and Chris Collinsworth and everybody over there. Give me one word reacting to PFF calling Seattle's offensive line the worst in the NFL. Here's the thing. You might call them the worst, but there's nowhere to go but up from here. Okay? Look, I think this offensive line is going to be a lot better than people think. And you look at the bookend tackles, you can see Jake Corran and Abraham Lucas fighting for that right tackle spot. Ultimately, when it's all said and done, I think Lucas will be your starter. And I know that Gabe Jackson has been on the decline, that we've seen that this offensive line was not great last year. But I will say that I think you're going to see improvement as the season goes along, that Cross and Lucas are going to grow in this offensive scheme together, that the pass blocking will be there right away. You don't have to worry about that with these guys. It's the run blocking that's going to take time to develop. I am optimistic about this group. It's not going to be overnight, but they're not going to be in the worst in the NFL. They may be right now, but when it's all said and done at the end of the season, this group is going to be much improved as the season goes along. I can tell you that right now.